Golly, I tell you, sick, wicked sick, as Undead Unluck used to say. This chapter is Eden Zero is not slowing down in the amount of awesomeness that has just happened. Just recently, this week, we actually got the rest of the cast of, well, not the rest of the cast, the Star Shrine Maidens are the only one left. But the rest of the crew of Eden Zero, they were revealed. I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised that it's mostly newcomers. I mean, that's not true. None of them really are, well, except one. They are not exactly completely rookies. But they don't, but except some few roles, they don't really have many roles under its belt. However, Japan did one thing that surprised me immensely. It was the choice to Homura. I mean, I'm actually wondering, are people gonna write about that when the Eden Zero actually do reaches its serialization, or is it not that big of a deal? Well, in essence, it's not that much of a big of a deal. Although, I mean, the easiest way to say it is actually a transgender man that is actually voicing Homura, and I have to say that is one of the first times I've heard that. Huh. So that will be interesting to see. And Pino's voice, well, I expected a lot more of a adorable voice. I mean, I heard her voice, ironically in Fairy Tale, actually. And she does have a little squeakiness to her voice, but I didn't really think she was Pino's kind of voice. But I look forward to that. Wise, though, yeah, the easiest way to describe who that guy is actually Aegil. Huh. So, yeah, a lot of newcomers. None of the newcomers I wanted to be there, though, so I am actually disappointed about that. But now to the chapter, and let's just say that the chapter actually has some very interesting stories to tell. But we'll tell about that when we get to that part. First off, this is not first off. Late introductions. This is me, the angry anime fan, the despair reviewer. Although I mostly just review Eden Zero nowadays. And this is Ocean 6, which actually reveals the oceans. It is very apparent that at least in this manga that Hiromashima is going to use the number 6 a lot. First of all, Creed is checking out pictures, and most of the pictures are actually about Homura. Seems someone actually has a crush, which Victory teases him about, although he actually just says that he's analyzing the crew. I mean, yeah, he did analyze the crew, but he is also clearly having a crush on Homura. Well, who can deny that Homura is actually a girl you really would fall for, though? That's very easy. But he does say that there's very many mystery. Victory, though, in his arrogance, do not think that they are a threat. But if we all know they are the main characters, and they are always a threat. Although he does say that they find them mysterious. Rebecca, B-Cuber, Wise, a guy from 50 years, miniature androids, the androids that used to work for Siggy, well, even the mysterious Sumo guy, and of course Shiki himself with the Siggy's power. So, but they are still just focused on handling Nero's forces along with Siggy, who is here. Else, back in his quarters, Justice is also recovering from the wounds. Still talking to Holy, who is mentioning that Nero has assembled his Ocean 6, along with his twisted deadbeat son. I mean, we have all seen that son, and it's clear that he's extremely demented. I mean, his very established moment was killing 2 girls that was simply pissing him off to just show how much of a spoiled brat he is. But Holy is, and I have to say, I really hate Justice of the fact that he's always prioritizing one thing. He's saying, I don't care about him. And Holy is the one who says, you should. He could be a real threat. And if you ask me, yeah, you should care about Shura. Not because he can be a big threat, but because that man is a maniac! If you are true of justice, then just do something about this. Either way, Holy is saying that Nero is old and Shura is young, meaning that if Nero dies, Shura is the new emperor. And I have a feeling the Aoi Cosmos are not going to be an easy place if a man like that is the emperor. But she's actually pointing out something very nice here. Nero is old, and we see him in this chapter, mind you. So, yeah. Either way, she's talking to Justice actually in a bar. What is this? A hostess bar? I mean, no offense, but she really does have an attractive figure and even a kimono of some sort. She is mentioning that Jaguar and Eraser will help out Justice with all these forces, but she won't because she has other fish to fry, whatever that means. Elsewhere in the planet Nero, called aka the Temple, we actually meet Poseidon Nero. As she says, a very nice poem. I mean, it's not really a poem, but I find it's a poem. The ocean weeps, though it tears by a drop of a blue cosmic sea. They will become a desolate darkness to reduce my flesh to ash. Indirectly, maybe saying that the blue from the Sakura cosmos, the blue garden situation, or maybe saying that ocean can even they cry because the darkness is here to torn his flesh. And so we are meeting the emperor of Aoi Cosmos and a member of the Russian Cis Galactica, Poseidon Nero. And let me tell you, that is one cool the sign. What we saw from the silhouette, it seems to have some like octopus-like hair. And yes, how can we describe it? Well, we can describe it almost like an octopus fish man of some sort. He has long, flowing hair, almost like octopus-like, with a similar beard and fish-like, well, fins like that, and as well as wrinkles to show his age. He is clearly an alien. That actually begs the question: then how did he get a human son? Unless, of course, Shura is actually hiding his real identity because of something else. Either way, we are meeting the oceans here as well. And here is actually a funny story. I don't know the full story, but I know it's a funny one. And and if you know this story, feel free to correct me because I'm very likely going to be wrong about one thing. What I'm not going to be wrong about is a long time ago, Hiroshima apparently had a contest, something about creating an original character and an original ether gear. I don't think I participated because, well, I can't create an original character. I can't draw. But I think I created an ether gear. But that is not the amazing thing. The amazing thing is, apparently a lot of people created many badass designs. And 5 of these designs, I think, are the oceans. Hiromashima, uh, well, I don't want to say took, but he used the competition to get ideas on how to draw it, and then took the winners of the best designs and incorporated them into the manga, similar on how he made that German YouTuber into his own character in the manga. So Hiromashima basically is the helped his fans, so to speak, to share their creations in his own creation. I have to say that is so badass. I don't know which designs were edited though, but either way, first, yes, Poseidon Shura is there as well. We meet Callum Steelford. I think that was one of the designs. We meet a sexy girl called Lyra. Maybe she was the design too. She has one white eye and one black eye and mixed hair color. And then a character is that a man or a girl? I can't really tell. Called Naze. And here's the thing about Naze. Naze is talking in a very familiar language, saying memory. Yes, if memory serves right. Do you all know another character that I always like to talk about memory or I remember? Maybe this character has some kind of Rufus-like power. Or if it was a design, but if it was a design character, maybe not. Because I have heard Hiromashima has also used the ether gears that the designers created. Although there have been a rumor going around that he nerfed the ether gears of the winners because he felt they were too powerful. I mean, he better. These are villains, and villains are not supposed to have overpowered power. Even though, but we do learn some interesting things here. Is the fact that Poseidon, Nero, and Siggy was once friends, and it actually turns out that yes, Shura was also a student about from Siggy. I mean, I'm finding a little bit strange that Siggy would actually teach someone so mentally disturbed as Shura. But it may be that he had no choice. It may also be that what we don't that he may be more insane than we think. I mean, Siggy, or it may very well be that Shura fell into the darkness of gravity and became evil. Because remember, that's what Xenon was talking about. But maybe that's not what had happened to Siggy. He has happened something else happened to him, but not to Shura. Maybe he fell into the darkness of gravity. Then we also meet a girl who is very holding her cleavage a lot and talking about beautiful. That's also very reminiscent of a fairy tale character from Cosmos, something like that. She's called Miliana Lucra. And here is another strange thing. We meet Saika, the only robot of the team. And what am I surprised by that? Well, from what I heard last time, Poseidon Nero was gonna destroy every single robot in the Aoi cosmos. So why is a robot an ocean? Unless, of course, there's more to this that we don't meet the eye, but we'll get to there in a bit. And finally, Fabiano, who looks like a dignified older man. And so Nero froze his dice. It actually revealed he's holding dice, saying that he wished to know Siggy's true intention because once upon a time they were friends. As Shura mocks his father slightly about leaving everything up to chance about the dice, Neros angrily tells him that the dice is his eye and they will never be power. That's the power of my ether. What are you telling me? He's throwing the dice and they show his fate. But he's saying that relying on the dice and his ether power, he has managed to build the empire in a single generation, meaning that he really is the one and only conqueror of our cosmos. These are a sacred guiding place, and so they all get to 111, and so. But that means that he will not interfere. He will not do anything. However, that does not mean that Shura won't. So he gives everything to Shura, which makes sense. Shura is the real villain here. But what I meant to say about earlier is that we heard from a previous story that Nero had made a decree that all the robots in our cosmos had to be destroyed. And yet here, a machine is in part of the ocean. And here we also see that he relies on fate through the dice as well as his ether power. And is that what they say about the decree of the Aoi cosmos? Did Nero really do that? Or is it possible that the Beast Squad was actually commanded by someone else other than Nero, but they just didn't know that? Because I'm a little bit confused here. If all machines are to be judged, then why is Cyan part of the ocean? It may very well be that he hasn't been judged yet. Or it may very well be that his decree changed. Or it could be that someone actually pretended to be Nero. Because again, the fact that Nero is pointing everything to Shura to handle this mess just further proves that it's Shura that is the main villain so far. Nero himself, he is a wild card. As soon as we heard the decree about destroying all the robots, I really thought, yeah, this guy is evil, no doubt. But now, he's even acknowledging that Siggy was once his friend. And he is sad that this has happened. And he's also wanted to know his true motives. And the fact that he has relied on the dice to build his empire. This once again throws his, I want to say, morality and stands in question. Is it just possible that Nero is just evil when he declares what he declares? But Shura, he is the real evil one. So because he says that Shura is to handle everything. And says it's the will of the dice. As Shura mocks his father in his mind about everything else, we're also introduced to his secretary, a beautiful, sexy girl, of course, called Ijuna. I'm actually surprised he can have a female secretary. I mean, granted, it's clear Shura is a womanizer that really likes to hang with women, so of course he will just have a female one. But last time we saw we had females, he brutally killed them. So for him, it's very likely that women are just his property. So I'm actually surprised he can have a female secretary and not do anything to her yet. Although, well, she is some very fine one. She has short hair, but that cleavage, oh my god, that cleavage. Someone said that this was also a design. Either way, Shura is granted permission to command the oceans to handle Siggy, as he arrogantly says that he will squash Siggy like a bug and become like a useless pile of scrap metal. But I have a very big feeling it won't be this easy. And also, Fabian is the only one that actually looks at Shura with silence, very likely implying that he does not like Shura. So either way, finally, back to the Eden Zero. Cenolith actually says that the reason why Siggy attacked Foresta was not because all of the robots there, but because he was there. He wanted to get rid of Cenolith, not because Cenolith can stop him. He actually acknowledges that his body is old, decayed, and practically run down, meaning that he cannot handle Siggy in his current state, despite his great ether power. However, he can train or grant someone else power. I mean, it's not exactly clear here if he says he can grant someone his power or if he can actually train someone. It seems to imply that it will not get a training arc, but we will rather see Siggy grant Xenolith grant Shiki his power. Because I've actually wondered one thing. Is it possible for two ether gears to actually be absorbed by each other? I mean, if that is true, then and it's very likely that another reason why Siggy actually has attacked our Cosmos may actually be to drag Shura out. Think about it. If Shura is a powerful user of the Saturn's gravity, then that means he's a big threat to Siggy. And if it's possible that the same ether gear can be absorbed by someone else, then maybe Siggy is luring in Shura because he wants to absorb his power and therefore become even stronger. Granted, that is not exactly clear yet. I mean, Zenolith only put a fist forward, saying that he was afraid. Siggy was afraid of Zenolith meeting Shiki. As he says, "I will grant you my power. Find Siggy and defeat him." With that, the chapter ends, and damn, it was one bombshell of an amazing chapter. So many things happening at once, so many reveals. It's new character driven. The story is set up of it all. We still haven't seen Siggy's forces, but we're also being promised new power from Shiki. And the anime has finally revealed most of the cast. Yes, we are really looking for what else. So unless nothing bad really happens. I'm not gonna mention what that happens. I will know more on Friday. Everything is moving in an amazing pace. Again, I really like Poseidon Nero's design. It's badass. But I'm actually very upset that Shura seems to be his only son. A deadbeat guy like that. I mean, one wonders actually. Although I really wish in the end an alien will still join the Eden Zero crew. What are your thoughts on this chapter? Oh, and yeah, and if you know which character was the designing one, feel free to tell me. Because I have seen on Twitter, I know, but it's not exactly on the same language, sometimes, so it's kind of difficult to find out. Other than that, give me your thoughts if you have any.